Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace, as we always do. I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Replenish IV Solutions. They're longtime friends of the program. I go in and get a vitamin infusion drip, boosting my immunity, and they are online at replenishivsolutions.com. Say hello to Stephen and Lisa Gunnan and their staff. They've got a great nursing staff over there. Awesome company, and you get those vitamins directly into your bloodstream, boosting immunity and helping you stave off some of those colds. So reach out to Replenish IV Solutions. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, coming up here, we got Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, one of our contractor expert contributors on the show. Before we do, a couple of hot listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 3058 Mildred Drive. We got a waterfront beauty here. This is on a canal with access to Lake Tarpon, the largest lake in all of Tampa Bay. 2,500-acre lake, 1,380 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, located on a spacious corner lot with no HOA, so you can park your boats, your trailers in there. Open concept kitchen with granite countertops, wood accent walls, screened-in patio with a pool, backyard dock, also with a screened-in pool. Beautiful property. You got lake access here at 3058 Mildred Drive in Palm Harbor, Florida. That's beautiful, Pinellas County. We'll stick with Pinellas County, and we'll go to 14 Baywood Drive. This is another waterfront community, and what you've got at the end of the street is a boat ramp with boat docks there, so you can take your boat and drop it in the water, go fishing, go enjoy all that Florida lifestyle. 2,913 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. Got a completely remodeled 3-story home, vaulted ceilings, fireplace. Also, just a gorgeous floor plan here in beautiful Palm Harbor. That's Pinellas County. You got a pool, and you have the bay access there. 14 Baywood Drive, Palm Harbor, Florida. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, on the phones, we got Fred Muth, a.k.a. the Tin Man, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Fred, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Fantastic. We're still, what did we say earlier? Rocking and rolling. We are rocking and rolling. Business is very good. I think it's still going to be good for quite some time. I know that people are nervous with the economy, and I'm not. You know, interest rates are what they are. Insurance issues in Florida don't really help the real estate industry. I'm sure you feel a pinch on that. But the people continue to move here. I talked to, I guess, 4 to 5 people just this week, and here we are. It's early week so far. All from New York. I'm going to sign a guy today, and I signed a guy the other day, and they're coming down. They just continue to come down, and I understand why. Taxes up there are horrible. Obviously, the weather in the winter is terrible. I'm from that area myself, and I've been here a long time for that reason. So they will continue to come down, and there's still plenty of land available in Florida. You look around, a lot of undeveloped land, even though the developed land is a little too overdeveloped for the infrastructure, but I see that there seems to be a lot of work on the infrastructure right now in process and in progress. Thank you. We need that. I'm tired of brake lights. How about you?
Yeah, that's right. We need better, you know, especially like east-west, it seems like, you know, moving from east to west throughout Tampa Bay. Yeah, definitely need better roads, reinforce that. Fred Muth on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we're talking about on the contractor side as well, Fred. What are you seeing as far as your supply chain and labor force?
Labor is always an issue. It's been an issue since I've been in the business. I've been at it for 31 years, and we've never had enough qualified screen enclosure installation crews, specifically because screen enclosure installation takes a very unique talent to do so. I know some guys that came and went. They were framers, and basically they went back to framing because the tolerances are much closer on screen enclosures. Then there's that certain breed of installation crews that come in. They like the challenge, they accept the challenge, and they prevail in the business. And I say I've been at it 31 years, and I know installation crews and installers that have been at it just as long as me. So they're good. The problem is there's not enough good ones around, to satisfy the workload. But that's always going to be, a concern in this business. So it's not to pick on any other trade, but it's not as difficult to learn to be a plumber. It's not as difficult to learn to be an electrician, simply because I know these guys. But when you talk about the tolerances and what you need to do with screen enclosure installation, and specifically working out there in the summer months in the heat, up top, these guys walk the beams. I've seen them. They walk the beams. They roll the fabric, and they're singing songs and joking with each other while they're up there. They don't look down, I guess. I don't know what they couldn't get me up there. I'll tell you that. And and the metal's hot, especially the bronze metal. But they do it, and they love it. They absolutely love it. And I see them at social events from time to time, and I always joke around and ask them. Of course, I throw my joke in there: never come down the ladder the way you went up, head first. That's how I usually break the ice. But that's I'm trying to answer the question correctly. And typically that's my assessment of it. But I do speak with other owners of aluminum contracting companies, and we all feel and think the same way. That's just the way it is. Now, materials, I believe the supply chain of materials is starting to improve to the point where I'm a little more relaxed with it. However, I'm never, ever happy or satisfied with the slow-moving permitting system. I don't think there's any rhyme or any reason for it. I just do believe that when it comes to certain governmental agencies, you cannot make them move fast. They move as fast as they want to, and sometimes that's a very slow speed. So it's still taking a long time to get permits. And the last time I was on the radio, I was a little more optimistic because I saw a few permits come through a little faster. I thought, here we go, we're going back in the right direction. Well, that was a mistake thinking like that, because 3 or 4 weeks later it changed, and now it's back down to a slow process again. So, and I don't want to fault the people in the building department, but, there's a lot of roadblocks that are thrown into the process for a screen enclosure. And in my opinion, it's a little bit overkill. In fact, it's a lot overkill. And I talk about the city of Tampa. They have a natural resources department that gets involved with the trees. And we like trees. We appreciate trees. But in some cases, it's overkill on their end, in my opinion. And I just have an example. I signed a nice-sized project last May. It's in the city, big piece of property. Everything was fine. There were a few trees on the lot. We completed that job last week. The permit was released the end of February, all because of the back and forth shuffling regarding the trees and natural resources. It was ready to go much sooner than that until the Natural Resources Department got involved, and it delayed it and slowed it down. It hurts everything. The homeowner's not happy. We're not happy because in the meantime, the job sits, the price of materials continues to raise.
Right.
The price of our labor went up. So our bottom line is a lot less because they dance around with us with their issues with the trees. And when it's all said and done, the job's done anyway. I knew it right from the start that it would be a completed job at some point. And what they put us through and the homeowner was completely unnecessary. So this is our county and city government, the way they operate. I don't want to pick on them too much. They sometimes they should be my friend. I'm going to pull the plug right there. I'm not going to say too much more.
Yeah, no, I totally get it, man. It is frustrating. I remember, when we were building our home, some of the challenges that you would see in other development deals, especially in, like the city of Largo, for example. I did a deal last year. It was vacant land, and they were going to put a building up to outfit it. They were basically outfitting it for a large painting, national painting chain, like a major name that you would know if I said the name, you would recognize it. So, it took forever. The contractor A said, "Look, we have to back out. We can't deal with this." They got another contractor in there to close out the deal. But yeah, I hear this type of a scenario play out, and I think it's due to the motivation. Also, a lot of times, the folks in there, they're probably great people, and but they're getting paid a certain wage, maybe that's not as motivating for them. Maybe if there was some type of a bonus structure in place,
Well, now you're putting a lot of logic into this equation, and unfortunately, logic doesn't always work in the business world. it just isn't the answer. When you have a logical mind, you become more frustrated, and I understand that because I'm somewhat logical myself. And I always try to share another story. I sold a job at Tampa International several years back, and there were 3 engineers involved. There was the aluminum company's structural engineer who had to sign and seal our plans, and then there was the city engineer because TIA is in the city, and then there was the airport engineer. And we built this thing. We designed it to the 165 wind load because it was fairly high and the airplanes were going to get close to it. And it was all ready to go. And then the airport engineer gets into it with the city engineer and says 165 is too low. It's got to be 185. Okay. Back to the drawing board. 6 months later, it's done. The drawings are done. You know what they did? They added 4 more bolts to take it up from 165 to 185.
4 more bolts.
It cost 6 months. Yeah, I mean, it's just the crazy things. And we knew that we could typically design it that way, but it had to be signed and sealed. And then one guy signs and seals it. He's got to bounce it off the other guy. These things happen. And that, to me, is somewhat comical. But, we talk about the delays in permitting, and it's unfortunate that the homeowners themselves are put to a disadvantage. They wait forever to get their home. They buy it, they build it. A year later they move in, and then we go to sell a screen enclosure, and then I tell them 4 to 6 months. They say, "What?"
Yep.
I said, "How long to get a permit?" And I'll be honest and say 4 to 12 weeks if everything goes well. But I can't make that statement in the city of Tampa if there's trees involved.
Right.
And I talk to them about that. You have to disclose everything, and I think part of the reason why I still acquire a lot of sales leads on my own from the past is I'm an honest guy. I tell it the way it is. If I lose the job because I'm honest, that's the way it goes.
That's the way
then
it goes.
I make a joke. I drive a Buick, not a Bentley. That's how it is.
And we're talking with Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, and the product itself, Fred. Tell us a little bit about the product and what you offer.
Well, if you drive the entire state of Florida, you see these beautiful cages, whether they're over a pool or just over a patio. The cages are simply screen fabric, insect screening. It's very heavy gauge fabric compared to window screens. We have the screen roof options. We have the solid roof options. Of course, we do carports and many other types of structures. But what has come out in the past, I'm going to say 12 years, has been a product called a panoramic view option for an enclosure. And a lot of the pool screen enclosures now can be built with real wide panels as opposed to the short 6 or 8 foot panels between uprights. And I always bring an example to the table, a job I did in Riverview on the river. It's 75-foot wide cage, and I believe there were 10 panels, which put the uprights at about 12 uprights. And the guy was looking out through the uprights and the chair rail, could barely see the river. So we replaced that cage in a 75-foot run. We did 3 25-foot panels, no chair rails, no uprights. So when you look out back, you got the 2 corner uprights and you got 2 center uprights to give you 3 panels. What a beautiful view. And we see a lot of this. Now, I'm getting the opportunity to bid a lot of these jobs, typically golf course communities, and where the backdrop of the yard goes to a lake or river or whatever. And, I've replaced several cages that were less than 15 years old because the product really wasn't available 15 years ago. So we're actually replacing a lot of cages right now with the beautiful panoramic view product, and I like it. I think it's a nice option if you have a nice backdrop on the back at the backyard.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Waterfront, lakefront, golf course view. Lots of reasons why you want to do that. Reach out to Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great company here in Tampa Bay. 5-star reviews all over the place. Fred, how do you want people to connect with you, my friend?
Always best by telephone at 813-960-7064. That really works the best, or they could contact us, email taluminum@tampascreens.com, or just go to our website, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. And there's many ways to contact us. Good company. They're family-owned, family-run. everybody who works there is on the team, and I like that. I'm a team player, always have been, and we work close together. And construction is known for Murphy's Law and residual problems and upfront problems, and there isn't a problem that comes across the plate that isn't resolved correctly, and I like that. Makes it very good for a guy in the sales position like myself.
I like it. I'm going to repeat the number again, 813-960-7064. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you, 960-7064. That'll put you in touch with Fred Muth and his team at Tampa Screens and Aluminum, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Fred, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll be talking to you soon, Brandon.
All right. Sounds good, buddy. Take care.
See ya.
All right, taking a quick break. Coming back, Alex Lima, Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts. He's got a big announcement, some new certifications, also a pretty cool magazine that you probably recognize. We'll talk about that with Alex Lima, Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.